What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we have a Total War Warhammer 1 versus 1 quick battle for you, where I am, of course, like always, leading the Greenskin hordes, led off by Grimgore Ironhide. Now, the reason I am consistently bringing Grimgore is just because I really hate how people tend to snipe out the Greenskin leadership. Everyone knows that the Greenskins have leadership problems, and I've always found that Grimgore really helps. I mean, look how terrifying he is. He helps keep all these Greenskins in line. Additionally, you'll see that I have pretty much brought my standard build. Now, I will start bringing some new stuff for you guys soon, so please keep an eye out. This is just my traditional Greenskin build, and so I'm most comfortable with it, so that's why I've been showing it to you guys so often recently. I do keep the 2 sets of Goblin Spearmen on the flanks. These are to protect my artillery. They're to tie anything up, and they'll allow my stronger units to get there if there's any units that are coming that are mobile to try to get around the flanks of my units. You'll see here we have brought the Hammer of Gork. This Regiment of Renowned Rock Lobber is just super cool. It does apply a huge debuff with the Great Green Wallop, and it is just overall a great unit for its cost to bring against clumped up infantry. Now you'll see over here on the right, we also have a Doom Diver Catapult. These artillery, they shoot goblins which have wings on them. They're guided, which allows them to be way more accurate, and you'll definitely see them slamming up onto those units on the hill over there throughout the majority of the match. Here in the front, you do notice that we have brought the Black Orc front line. Now, there is not a lot of troops that are going to do a lot of damage to these Black Orcs on the enemy side. Against the Wood Elves, the Black Orc front line is a very solid pick because they do have tons of weapon strength, tons of armor, and they're able just to cut down the Eternal Guard and many of the other units that are going to be fielded against them. You'll see here we have a Goblin Big Boss on a Spider. Now, we do normally strip his ability, and we just bring him on the Spider so that because he is a great duelist, he applies poison, and he is able to just if he is to land that dragon, we're going to be slowing him down with that Big Boss for sure. Now you'll see here we have brought a Goblin firing line. Like always, like it always include for any Greenskin army, we got the Rusty Arrows. Those are the Regiment of Renown Night Goblin Archers with the armor sundering. They've got poison melee attacks, and they are just able to increase the damage done by these cheap Goblin Archers on the flanks. Additionally, recently I've been bringing these Morgrub's Mangy Marauders. If you put them in here with your firing line, the fact that they have this armor piercing damage, they're able to just do a ton of damage when you put them together with the Rusty Arrows. The Greenskins don't have a lot of ranged units to choose from, so I am having to make do with what I can just to bring a standard firing line. Here in the back, we do have a Night Goblin Shaman. I always like to bring him because just for 500 gold, you're able to get Sneaky Stealin', Gork will Fix It, as well as Itchy Nuisance. I mean, these AoE debuffs they're cheap, and you're able to get them just casted across huge amounts of the enemy team, and they'll just debuff the front line and allow those Black Orcs to fight for even longer. Here in the back, we have brought the Warlord's Boys. These regiments of renown look so cool. They also apply armor sundering. If they slip in there and to the back lines, I mean, they're just going to increase the damage of anything that comes around that back end. Here in the back, you see we have hidden a group of Goblin Wolf Riders. Now, these goblins, they're quick. They do not do a ton of damage. You'll see they've only got a 16 charge bonus. They've got low weapon strength, but they are able to get in there and tie things up. If I'm able to slam them into the back of some of these ranged units of the Wood Elves, they will definitely do some damage. You'll see here that the Wood Elf has brought a Glade Lord on a super cool Forest Dragon. And look at those rocks fly right past his head on their way to the back lines here. This Forest Dragon, I mean, look how cool he looks with antlers out of his head. Those wings are super cool like butterflies. I cannot wait till Warhammer 2 when they have the breath attacks added to these dragons. They're just going to be so cool. You'll see here for the elf front line, the Wood Elves have brought these Way Watchers. Now these are very expensive elite ranged units. They do armor piercing. They've got tons of missile damage. If these things start shooting at my Black Orcs, they're going to cause some serious deaths. I'll have to get them tied up, or else I will lose just to the ranged fire. You'll see over here, for his front line, he has brought about 3 or 4 groups of Eternal Guard. Now these are the standard Wood Elf front line. They're high leadership. They've got anti-large with their spears, and they will just continue fighting for a long time. These are just very strong for cheap frontline infantry. They're able to hold my units in place as long as possible, while all of these expensive archers are going to be able to do a ton of damage, I would think. Here in the back, you'll see that they do have a Spell Singer of Life. Now that is a super cool model, but you'll see one thing I noticed is that they have brought all of the spells. Now that's a mistake. It's a waste of money. It normally happens if you're not paying close attention, but you can do you can only have enough Winds of Magic for about 1 or 2 spells to be used consistently. You do not want to waste extra gold bringing spells that you're not going to be able to get off during the battle. You'll see here he does have some Glade Guard with Hagbane tips. And oh, look at those rocks just slam in there and send those War Dancers flying. These Glade Guard have poison attacks. They've got magic damage. These Glade Guards are going to be able to do some serious work and apply some slows and just help to debuff my frontline infantry as they approach these Wood Elves. You'll see getting hit by the rocks are these War Dancers. I mean, look, they've already taken five model losses. These are just some pretty standard. They're very strong. Right now they're debuffed by that Hammer of Gork, so you'll see there that they've got quite low for their melee attack and melee defense. But overall, these are just some pretty good damage dealing units. They can also, if you look over on both of the flanks, you'll see the War Dancers. They can be upgraded with the Azrai Spears. It gives them an anti-large attack. It gives them armor piercing. These are definitely cool. If I would have had some Boar Boys, he would have been able to use these to protect his flanks and to take out any cavalry I may have had. Luckily for me, I did not bring the traditional Boar Boy build. So a lot of those units that people bring to fight off against the Greenskins, they're not going to help them too much against me. Here in the back, you'll see he's got another group of Glade Guards, so that makes 2. And he does have a group of Wildwood Rangers. Now these are the super cool elite of the elite damage dealers. Look at those super cool Glade swords. I mean, they've got 40 armor piercing weapon damage. They've got, anti-large. These guys are just able to do a ton of damage. Although they are a little bit weak on defense. They've only got 35 melee defense. So if they come into contact with strong damage dealing units, they will slowly get cut down. So you have to be very careful when you're using them. All right. So since it's already going, let's go ahead and get this battle started. You'll see right off the bat that this group of Black Orcs is starting to take heavy damage from these Way Watchers. Those armor-piercing missiles are just going to do a ton of work into these non-shielded elite frontline. And you'll see as I am just trying to approach as fast as I can to try to cut this range down and to stop those ranged units from firing at me on my approach. You'll see here in the back that I have brought these Goblin Wolf Riders around, and I'm going to try to get them right into these Glade Guard to do as much damage as I can from the backside and get some rear charges with those weak units. Oh, and there goes another volley from those Glade Guard. You'll see here that they are just blasting this one unit of Black Orcs. It's already it's lost about half its models. It's wavering, and I'm sure that unit is going to break before long. However, luckily, you do see that these artillery pieces, both the Doom Diver and the Hammer of Gork, are continually firing in here. And now we have got our own unit of Goblins to start firing in. I do have him firing at these War Dancers since they don't take... Oh man, look at this charge. Oh, you will see all of those arrows flying in. You'll see those Black Orcs start just swinging. I mean, look at the cool cinematics of all of those arrows flying across the field. I mean, there's just a ton of damage done by that Black Orc charge, though. And you'll see that since these Azrai Spears, they don't have shields, they're just going down quickly to the combined range fire of those archers. Grimgore charges in here as well, and another group of Black Orcs And even though he is trying to support them with these war dancers, I mean, the debuffs all around on the front line are going to make it a lot harder for these war dancers to do much of anything. You'll see they're already starting to lose a ton of models, and even these goblins have gotten a kill or two. If you look over here on the right, you'll see that we are engaged the spears versus the Eternal Guard. These goblins are holding their own. They're tar pitting. They're a lot cheaper than these Eternal Guard. But the fact that we have this Goblin Big Boss in here helping them out, that is going to allow them to hang still until these War Dancers go ahead and charge in here. You'll see they're able to get in here. They're going to take out some goblins. But I'm going to continue to use my ranged units to fire at all of the non-shielded units I can get a hold of. You'll see that even though I did get my Goblin Wolf Riders in here, I missed their charge. They were able to charge into the back of these Glade Guard. But the big story is just that, I mean, these Black Orcs are going to crush a front line of spears like that. The Eternal Guard were no match for the Elite Orcs, and they were just knocked right down. However, you'll see over here on the right that those Azrai Spears and the Eternal Guard, they were able to take down my Goblin Big Boss. So we all know that the Greenskins always have huge leadership problems, and you always have to be very careful. Oh wow, look at that. I mean, we're charging in here on this Laura Life Wizard. Grimgor is here, he is covered in blood, and he is just going to be trying his best with this complement of Black Orcs, do as much damage as he can. Oh, but boom, you'll see that this Laura Life Wizard, right before he gets taken out, he is able to get off one more spell. Oh, there we go. And you'll just see Grimgor has also taken quite a lot of damage in this charge. Down goes the Laura Life, but there is not a lot of health left on Grimgor, and that archers, I mean, they were just able to do a ton of damage on him. If we back up here, you'll see that I am trying to cast as many debuffs as I can, but Grimgor is just going to continue to go down. I am firing as many arrows as I can at this Glade Lord, but I mean, it is just not enough. That Glade Lord has tons of health, and Grimgor just continues to take fire, and he is broken. He's going to try to escape. He's got 250 health, but I don't know how much longer he's going to make it. Oh, and boom, there come a couple more shots. I mean, these Way Watchers are just going to keep firing at Grimgor, and oh, he gets blasted. But we were able to get these Wolf Riders and this group of Goblin Spearmen in there, and they are able to break these Way Watchers. I mean, those Way Watchers are not able to fight in melee combat versus all of those units. You'll see here that this Blade Lord is now starting to get low. He's taken a ton of damage from this concerted fire from the Goblin Archers and the Rusty Airs. He is breaking. His leadership is down to 107, and he is shattered, and that'll be it for the Wood Elf army. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the post-battle wrap-up. You'll see here on my squad that we just got a ton of kills. Those Black Orcs, they were able to get almost 300 kills between the group of 4. So when these Eternal Guard were no match for them on the charge, these Black Orcs just came in there with the debuffs and everything. I mean, they were just able to do tons of work. Additionally, you'll see Warlord's boys. I mean, the fact that they are able to do this much damage, these Azrai Spears and these Wildwood Rangers, they're going to take a huge amount of damage once their armor is completely reduced by these armor-sundering Warlord's boys. You'll also see that these artillery got together over 100 kills. And because there was a lot of grouped up units, this Hammer of Gork was able to do a ton of work, 75 kills. And plus, I mean, you guys saw the debuff it was applying to some of those War Dancers and stuff. I mean, it is able to reduce their attack and their damage by quite a bit. I mean, we got tons of damage done. I mean, he was slowly able to pick out the Goblin Big Boss and Grimgor, but I mean, we still had the Night Goblin Shaman in the very back. He wasn't able to use as much Winds of Magic as I'm sure he would have liked, and so he just, I mean, those units dropped quick. You'll see here that he did do quite a bit. I mean, he got to level up these Way Watchers. This one's already ranked 3 because that kill on Grimgor. But I mean, they were just not able to kill the units quickly enough while their front line was just massacred by those Black Orcs. You'll see over here that these War Dancers, I mean, these are the ones that these groups of these archers were shooting at. While they weren't able to do a ton of kills, they did reduce the health and the armor on these units quite a bit, which allowed my other units to get in there and just do a ton of damage. I mean, if you look these Wildwood Rangers, I mean, they hit like trucks, and they were only able to get 71 kills. They were killed almost to a man. So overall, I think, I mean, he could have switched out these Way Watchers, gotten a little bit more heavy frontline units, maybe a couple of trees or something. That really would have helped him out. There was not enough staying power in his army to be able to take me out. I want to say great game to my opponent, LaForeman. Thank you so much, all everyone, for tuning in. Please go ahead and subscribe below for more great online battles. It really helps me out. Also, guys, if you want to leave some comments below, tell me what you'd like to see in some upcoming battles. Anything that I can do to make this more exciting for you guys, I would love to do it. This is Black Iron, and I hope you've enjoyed another one of Black Iron's battles.